Welcome to Luszczek's family farm in Speedsville, New York, a third-generation conventional dairy operation. They are recognized for their best practices and are home to some impressive classic tractors. It's all coming up on this episode of Tioga County Dairy Tails.
Hi, I'm Chris Luszczek from Luszczek's family farm.
I'm Debbie Luszczek.
And I'm Chris Jr.
I've been farming here on this home farm since 1986. My wife Debbie and I bought it in 1989, 1 month after we got married. So we've been here 30 plus years. We milk 170 cows. We have a seasonal herd. We milk peak in the winter, and in the summertime we will drop down to about 2/3 those numbers. We milk at 4:30 a.m. and 4 p.m. We crop about 500 acres. We grow 300 acres of alfalfa, clover, and grass, and grow about 200 acres of corn. I'm the second generation dairyman here on the farm, and my son Chris and my other son Josh are the third. And it looks as though Chris and Josh will continue that. That's one of our goals, is to work on starting to transfer things.
There's very few kids anymore that have the opportunities that I had growing up. So I'd like to continue that for my kids and other neighbor kids as well. Being able to learn to drive tractors for one, but learning what hard work really is, not necessarily just house chores and putting dishes away, things like that. But being around the animals, getting to learn to take care of them and how to diagnose different things and treat accordingly. I can take off and go on four-wheeler or dirt bike or whatever and go for hours and stay just on our property. There's not a lot of people that have that opportunity anymore.
I just gravitated to the farms. I loved the farm. I loved drinking the raw milk. My mother always told me, she says, you're gonna have to either have your own cow or marry a farmer.
That's why she married me, for the
I
raw
married
milk.
him for the raw milk, yeah.
It's an enjoyable way of life, but it can be very challenging to balance family and a farm.
Luszczek's herd yields about 66 pounds of milk per cow per day. They have a milking parlor that is connected directly to the barn, as you can see here. When the cows get into the parlor, they are given a quick spray of water for cleanliness, given an iodine pre-dip for their teats as a form of skin care, as well as to trigger the cow's endocrine system to release oxytocin. Doing so relaxes the cow, so she'll let her milk into the machinery. After a minute or two, the pre-dip is wiped off with paper towels, and the cows are force-stripped a few streams of milk so they can be checked for mastitis. When you strip the teats of a cow, you can see and feel the milk coming out, and if it is a little stringy and coagulated, that means the cow has mastitis and needs to be treated with antibiotics. It also means her milk won't be any good until the mastitis is gone and the antibiotics are out of her system. While they have antibiotics in their system, they're marked with red bands so the farmers know not to add her milk in with the rest of the herd. Luszczeks have a couple of highly successful grant projects on their property to improve the area's streams. Mike from the Tioga County Soil and Water Conservation District will tell us about them.
So here on the Luszczek family farm, they had quite a few environmental issues with this tributary stream to the west branch of Owego Creek. And so we're concerned with the environmental issues here for a number of different reasons. The Owego Creek west branch that this feeds into is a trout stream. So we want to make sure that we're getting clean water into the trout stream, that the trout have good habitat. We're not creating a bunch of extra sediment and silt that's going into that stream. So problems that they were having here is they had a small 6-foot round pipe for their cow crossing here. And that would frequently plug up with debris and sediment. And during flash flooding events or even just high flow rain events, they would get plugging and it would overtop that and flood actually into the barn. So there would be essentially an almost environmental disaster where the floodwaters would carry water that had manure back into the stream. So that was a major concern for them, and they really didn't want to have that happen. So we were able to get funding to replace these with these structural plate arches that you see. What we want to look at is aquatic life passability. Since then, it's been a huge success, and we haven't had issues of the overtopping flows, and we've considerably reduced the erosion. We've connected the upstream portions of this tributary to Owego Creek to the aquatic life. So wholly, we call this project a high level of success for both helping the family farm and environmental protection.
Luszczek's also had some work done to the Owego Creek that runs adjacent to their property. It began to erode their farmland away.
Instead of the landowner saying, let's just dump more dirt over the bank or let's doze the creek, which is environmentally bad in most cases, they contacted us and said, what can we do that's the right thing to do? And so we designed and installed 3 Instream structures that you can't see here because they're under the surface of the water. But those are hydraulic structures, stream barbs that will redirect the high velocity flows of the stream away from the eroded bank and keep the center of the channel or the thalweg deeper, which is better both for water quality, the water temperature, fish passage, and it keeps the high velocity water off the bank. This is a high quality trout stream within our county, for our county, and anything we can do to protect this is just a higher level of environmental protection. In this case, environmental protection also equals recreation. We've been working with Luszczek's for a while on making sure that this section of stream is not degraded or destroyed.
Let's take a look at the Luszczek's in action as Chris Sr. and his sons, Josh and Chris Jr., all worked together to cut and bale dozens of acres of haylage before a big storm rolled in. If a hay harvest gets wet before or during cutting, raking, and baling, it can produce mold, making it unpalatable and even unhealthy for the cows. The Luszczeks take excellent care of their machinery. Evidence of that is that their tractors range between 30 and 60 years old, and they still run really strong. Some people would only get to see these machines in a museum, but if you take good care of your equipment, it can last a lifetime and save a lot of precious financial resources on a farm. That's all for Luszczek's. Thanks for watching this episode of Tioga County Dairy Tails.